Hello everyone, long time no see. Unfortunately, I had to sell the Explorer, but I couldn't live without an off-roading SUV. So I bought this wonderful beater, the cheapest drivable Range Rover L322 I could find. It's an early model from 2004, equipped with trusty BMW M57 diesel engine. It's a TD6. I've already picked up some wheels and tires for it. These are R17 8 inches wide with an AT35 offset, and I'm running massive 35-inch tall 13.5-inch wide tires. Now it's time to get them properly fitted on the Range Rover, which is the main focus of today's video. Today I'll be installing a lift kit from MBD4x4 Performance. It's a 3 inches lift in the front and 2 inches lift in the rear. You might be wondering why the shorter lift in the back? Well, it's simple, because the front spacers are fitted directly onto the suspension struts, while the rear ones are mounted further from the wheels. This means that the 2-inch spacers in the rear will actually lift a bit more than the actual height of the spacers. It's all about geometry. The lift kit includes 6 spacers, 2 for the front suspension struts, 2 for the rear airbags, mounted on top, and 2 for the rear shock absorbers. And yes, since it's an air suspension system, I'll need to trick it into lifting an additional 3 inches. For that, I have 4 custom-made adjustable lift rods, also from MBD 4x4 Performance. Let's kick things off by deflating the rear suspension. Of course, I don't have a diagnostic tool to do this electronically, so we'll go the old-fashioned route, manually unscrewing the suspension air hoses. You can deflate the rear airbags from the rear right corner. With the rear airbag deflated, we can lift the car, remove the wheel, and then take off the rear shock absorber. The shock comes out easily, and now it's time to install the first spacer. It fits perfectly. After bolting the spacer to the shock, it's ready to be reinstalled on the Rover. Next, it's time to remove the rear airbag. This part is a bit more challenging. You'll need to remove the bottom bolt and apply some brute force to create enough room for the bag to come out. Nothing too serious, just requires a bit of time. Now, here's the tricky part. Initially I had rear spacers that fit on the bottom of the airbag, but that turned out to be a bad idea. The spacers were under too much stress and the rear airbag stood at a bad angle. So I asked for an updated set of spacers that fit on the top of airbag instead. And now I believe this is the first Range Rover L322 with top-mounted rear airbag spacers.
Test normal.
Alright, on the front spacers, the process is similar but with some differences. Let's start by deflating the front airbag. The valve is located in the front right wheel valve. Remember, right side air hoses are yellow and the left ones are black. Important for future reference. Removing the front suspension strut wasn't easy. It was really stuck in there. I even had to cut the stabilizer bar links to get it out. But hey, no big deal, it's all the part of the fun. The bottom bolts were pretty stuck too, but with the help of a hammer I managed to get them out. After that, it was just the top bolts and air hose left to deal with. Now time to install the massive front spacer onto the suspension strut. This will lift the front of the Rover a full 3 inches higher than stock. Looking good. Oh. Reinstalling the front strut is a bit of a challenge when you're doing it alone, but with enough patience and persistence, it gets done.
Skamba lengviau. Antras yra ir trečias. Namo. Amortizatorius namo. Prašom, kad geriau įlystų. O tai su intarpais nebeužsideda padanga.
One small issue. After installing the spacer, the wheel studs are too low to fit the wheels back on. Looks like I'll need to jack the Rover up a bit higher. About 7 centimeters should do the trick. And wow, those wheels are heavy. Okay, I run into a problem. I can't get the wheels back on because the suspension struts seems to be misaligned. The wheel hits the strut when I try to mount it. The issue? The suspension isn't in its proper position and needs some weight on it to settle back into place. So I installed the wheels as best I could, fastened a few bolts and then dropped the Rover back down onto the ground. After a few nerve-wracking sounds, the front suspension snapped back into its correct position. Success! Now that the spacers are installed, it's time to tackle the air suspension with the custom-made adjustable lifting rods made by MBD4x4 Performance. These rods are made from durable 3mm metal built to withstand the tough conditions of off-roading. What makes them special is their adjustability. You can fine-tune them to achieve any right height you need, giving you complete control over your Range Rover stance and clearance. Installing lifting rods is a simple, straightforward job. Just need to remove old ones and install new ones. These rods allows us to adjust suspension height manually, so whether you want a mild lift for daily driving or max height for tracking serious trails, you can dial it in just right. By tweaking these rods, you can lift Range Rover up to match the new spacer height, or even go higher if you are feeling adventurous. And there we have it, the lift kit is completely installed. All the spacers and custom lifting rods are in place. The rods still need a bit of fine tuning, but even now, those massive 35-inch tires fit perfectly inside the wheel arches, like they were meant to be here from the start. The only thing left to do are adjust the front bumper and relocate the washer fluid box to ensure everything clears when we hit the trails. The transformation is already incredible. With a lift kit and new tires, the ground clearance is hugely increased, giving this Range Rover an impressive stance. Thanks to its independent suspension, we get even more clearance under the differential and the control arms, which is a massive advantage when off-roading. This setup not only makes the Range Rover look tough and also significantly increases its off-road capability. I have to apologize for the mixed timeline of clips in this video. The whole process took a couple of months, especially after realizing I needed to switch the rear spacers to the top mounted ones. Half of his work was done outside and the other half in the garage. It was a journey, but seeing the final result makes it all worth it. If you enjoyed this build and want to see more videos about modifying the Range Rover L322, or if you have any suggestions for future upgrades, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any adventure videos. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!